My final word is to the 60 councillors who've been caught in the crossfire. Your duty, I believe, is to the people who elected you. You have two formidable leaders. Mark Hunter, a former Deputy Chief Whip in Westminster, well versed in the dark arts of manipulating people's votes, and Mark Roberts, a professional in the world of theatre, can be very convincing. They attack members of the public who politely ask for evidence.
Legitimate questions and scepticism around your green climate policies have been met with sinister labelling.
Providing a platform for conspiracy theories. Providing a platform for climate change deniers.
As we've seen on a number of occasions, he's unable to reference a single scientific study to back up a claim that carbon dioxide is the cause of global warming. So how can he truly believe it? In 2019, Stockport Council declared their very own climate emergency, giving them powers to spend millions of your money on green vanity projects. As you will see, they've declared a war on your lifestyle and precious carbon dioxide, a gas which is essential for all the natural food that we eat. But like their counterparts around the UK, these two poor leaders have run into rather an embarrassing problem. Public questions have exposed the fact that they have no understanding of how CO2 allegedly warms the planet. Despite their extreme policies and spending, they cannot find anyone from the multi-trillion green lobby to provide a scientific study to prove that carbon dioxide is the problem. Their mantra is merely the opinion of a mysterious international body who appoint their own preferred scientists. Both the IPCC and Stockport Council exclude the testimonies of thousands of experts and scientists who say science has been corrupted. It's all a crock of crap. Not my words, but those of John Clauser, the 2022 Nobel Prize winner for physics. This is less complicated than you may have been led to think. And if you watch to the end of this video, I will show you a simple method to disprove the CO2 theory for yourself from the comfort of your own kitchen. In the meantime, Stockport Council's website advises that you should give up 60% of all your energy use and reconsider cars, air travel, gas heating and nutritious red meat. Followers of Stockport Council Watch will know that leaders Mark Hunter and Mark Roberts hide their ignorance by refusing a public debate. They attack members of the public who politely ask for evidence.
Legitimate questions and scepticism around your green climate policies have been met with sinister labelling.
Providing a platform for conspiracy theories and false facts. We stand and will not see public money spent providing a platform for climate change deniers.
Councillor Hunter even refused to quantify how much of your money they spent on this dogma.
The costs of our green policies are nothing, as but nothing, compared to the cost of doing nothing.
If you're one of the millions who smell a global scam, you will have noticed how media corporations dramatise every single weather event, but never allow you to see the scientific debate. It's almost like the mysterious corporate leaders of this world are controlling the opinions of people and local politicians, whilst profiting from our looming net zero misery. Not only do Stockport's leaders prevent your local councillor from hearing the scientific debate, they're now being trained to terrify you into this net zero frenzy. Here's a question I put to Councillor Roberts, who, from his little desk in the northwest of England, is somehow deemed by the council to be responsible for climate change.
The first question is from Mr. Steve Hatton. It's on the GMCA carbon literacy training and it's addressed to Councillor Mark Roberts. Mr. Hatton.
Thank you. GMCA's carbon literacy training for councillors predicts a world of climate peril for our descendants due to carbon dioxide, greenhouse gas. If true, we would all want to help prevent this. The training's net zero solution is to sacrifice most of our energy use, travel and red meat. But what if the CO2 science was wrong? Would we still want politicians to limit access to daily human needs? Should we at least check the sloppy science? After almost a year, it seems odd that nobody has been able to provide me, Stockport Council or its climate trainers with a scientific study to prove that carbon dioxide is the cause of global warming. If there is a consensus of scientists, why can't you or your trainers name even one who'll put their name to such a study? The elephant remains firmly in this room. This so-called training misleads councillors with cherry-picked data and ignores inconvenient facts, some of which I've emailed to everybody, so you'll have them on your phones. No mention that CO2 is essential for life. Dramatisation of the rise in CO2 ignores the previous 140 million years of decline towards extinction levels. No mention that the rise has greened our abundant planet. No mention that this supposed cause of warming was a well-recorded side effect during previous warming cycles. No mention that our warming cycle started way before the Industrial Revolution. No mention that modern average temperatures are exaggerated by including more built-up areas. According to an independent behaviour and communications expert, carbon literacy training uses emotional manipulation techniques to implant beliefs about carbon dioxide. It urges councillors to segment and target us for behavioural change, whilst asking families to have one less baby. I'm sounding the alarm bell. These policies have echoes of China's communism. Can I please ask you to save public money and councillors' time by placing this indoctrination on hold, pending a full public review? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Can I call on Councillor Roberts to reply?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Hatton, there are a number of inaccuracies and falsehoods in your question. No, the Council will not stop offering carbon literacy training to members. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mark may be a well-intentioned man who believes his climate literacy training seminar will save the world, but the system protects him from factual discussion by denying members of the public like me a right to respond to him directly. I wrote for clarification of these alleged falsehoods, but after 3 months he still can't name a single one. So you might want to listen to my question again. As we've seen on a number of occasions, he's unable to reference a single scientific study to back up a claim that carbon dioxide is the cause of global warming. So how can he truly believe it?
And we haven't forgotten that global warming had to be rebranded as climate change when the warming trend embarrassingly stuttered back in the 1990s. So Stockport can now expect to see freshly indoctrinated councillors promoting a net zero dystopia to you and your neighbours. Mark has recently armed them with another £72,000 of project giveaways for any local groups who want to join this war on a gas, which we all exhale 25,000 times every day. This is where your 5% council tax increase is going, and it seems to be happening just about everywhere.
So as councillors dish out the new dosh, they might want to reflect on the fact that the climate has always changed, and humans prosper far better when it's warm. Thankfully, our current warming phase began around 1700, long before planes, motor cars or the Industrial Revolution. Even the BBC once admitted that regular public festivals were held on the River Thames when winters produced several feet of ice cover. The climate always changes due to millions of factors, but they are dominated by the Earth's proximity to that big orange blob in the sky, which provides all our energy. Hopefully, the climate will change enough for Brits to actually see it again someday. So as promised, here's a bit of science which everyone is familiar with. Opening a bottle of fizzy water straight from the fridge, we've all witnessed the hiss and flow of bubbles of carbon dioxide, moving from cold liquid into warmer air. Well, this natural process also applies to our vast oceans and soils. Scientists agree that carbon dioxide levels in the air rise as a result of each natural warming cycle. But hold on a minute, aren't warming cycles caused by carbon dioxide? If both were true, surely temperatures would have escalated ever since time began. Ice core data allows experts to estimate temperature and carbon dioxide back over millions of years. And hey, guess what? There's no correlation. Maybe I should charge you a licence fee, because this is what the BBC should be explaining. Only 4% of the Earth's carbon dioxide is generated by human activity. Suspiciously, the world's bosses point to blame the things we love: driving, flying, warm houses, and even red meat. Do you really think that they themselves will give up these necessities and their creature comforts? Or have they decided to keep our God-given resources for their chosen few who can still afford them? And have our well-meaning councillors been pressured into selling a giant lie for billionaires using alarmism without any scientific evidence to support them? Please think about it. If you agree, why not tell your councillors or come along to a council meeting? To learn more, you'll find a link to the CO2 Coalition in the notes below. Please comment and share and subscribe for more videos as we keep an eye on Stockport Council. Or you can look out for your own local council watch teams popping up around the UK. My final word is to the 60 councillors who've been caught in the crossfire of this discussion. I ask you not to believe me, but to keep an open mind. I'm a genuine member of the public who's brought information into the chamber in good faith. And I know from looking around that chamber that people are not aware of the information that I presented. They've not been given the opportunity to see this information debated. Now, your duty, I believe, is to the people who elected you, rather than to your party or to your leader. And you have two formidable leaders. Mark Hunter, a former Deputy Chief Whip in Westminster, well versed in the dark arts of manipulating people's votes away from what they want to do towards what the party wants them to do. And Mark Roberts, a professional in the world of theatre, can be very convincing. I don't ask you to believe me or disbelieve them. I ask you to keep an open mind for our children's sake, because if we're to transform human society with these net zero rules, it's their lives that will be changed. And I believe the onus is upon you individually to make absolutely certain that we know that this is based on real science. And I'm prepared to introduce you directly to a former IPCC scientist who will tell you exactly the same thing, that we have all been misled. I think this is your duty, and this is a big moment in history. And very few people have got the opportunity to do what you need to do. You're in a position of local power, and we're relying on you. We're relying on you to make sure that the truth is at least debated. You can contact me directly in absolute confidence to discuss these matters. But in the meantime, thank you for watching.